So since I am feeling some fucking type of way, I'm gonna unpack one of the sources of my childhood trauma. And yes, it stems from fucking religion. So, anyways, when I was a kid, one of the teachings was that if someone were to come up and put the thing to your head, because I can't say it on here, and ask you whether or not you believe in God, you were supposed to say yes, even if it meant they pulled the trigger. And for a small child to absorb that, not even understanding what the hell this God was or what this religion was in the first fucking place, that is fucking traumatizing, bro. And I remember actually specifically being taught this earlier on. But then, like, I had gotten older and I was in middle school, and I had to watch my mother like sit here and kind of like actually contemplate this as if this would be a real scenario, and not just with like, you know, herself as the individual, but she was like thinking about like what she would do in the scenario if someone did this to my youngest sister and she was forced to say yes, because this was supposed to be like, because you know the whole thing that if you deny that you believe in God or whatever the fuck, you can't get into heaven. And so she was sitting here like, I don't know what I'm gonna do if they do this to like your youngest sister. And I'm over here like, just her? But like, I understood because she's the youngest, she's the baby. But at the same time, like, you wouldn't feel this way about everyone also. But it was just one of those things where, like, if they did this to your children, you would have to say yes, even if it meant they, your kid. I was in middle school, hearing her sit here and kind of like struggle with, you know, contemplating on whether she would be able to do it. So it's like, you could do this for all your other kids, but not that one. Anyways. And it was just one of those things. And I'm over here like, why would you say yes in the first place? And I'm over here like, okay, so now I have to plan for the scenario where if they said something like this about like my siblings, I'm gonna have to like step in. If my mother says yes and they decide that they're gonna like off my siblings, I was gonna have to come up with a strategy on how to distract them so that I could remove my siblings from the line of fire. And this is something that I had to contemplate as a middle schooler, because this was a common thing to bring up in continuous cycles. And the funny thing is, it's like, what's going on currently in this fucking country? It seems like this is actually the opposite. Like, it's happening the opposite way around. Maybe not literally, but metaphorically. Because, you know, there was a whole big thing about, oh, they're taking God out of all the schools and all of this stuff. The separation of church and state was a horrible fucking thing. This was a horrible thing. This was a horrible thing, to sit here and teach children that they had to watch their family members because they have to say yes or else they can't go to heaven. Because anybody who doesn't believe in God is going to want to you. And then everything, you know, that I had to go through and the trauma that I experienced and things that I worry about on a regular fucking basis make sense. Because in my mind, these adults were dumb. So of course, I would have to be the parentified child and constantly think of these made up scenarios and what I would do in these situations, because they presented it to us like this was a very real fucking possibility. And, you know, as a small child, a middle schooler, this is not something you should have to think about on your list of survival things. And so, yeah, that was very fucking traumatizing, to say the least. And these people wondered why I could never let nothing go. Because, like, y'all literally was about to sacrifice us just to say yes to a heaven that we don't even know exists. The actual fuck. And this is how I fucking grew up, with this being ingrained in my brain. So of course I felt like I had no fucking control over my life, or no, because they were just constantly kind of creating scenarios similar to this to, kind of force us into this like state of fucking craziness. So yeah, I don't know, like, if anybody else actually experienced this, because if they did, nobody ever really talked about it. And there's only one place that I know that this shit was talked about, and it was in one Flyleaf song. And I don't even remember what the name of the song was, but the lyrics were, "Do you believe in God written on the bullet? Say yes to pull the trigger." And while I hated my life anyway, I would say yes just to end it. Or would have in the past, but yeah. That to sit there and think that I had to watch everybody else go? No. Like that was not a logical scenario for me. And so yeah. This is why I had to be the mature one. Oh fuck. That's kind of insane. Anyway, that's my fucking little religious story time for today.